First and foremost, I wanted to start this video off by saying I have no idea how to pronounce this word. I've tried Googling it. I've tried like 30, that's an exaggeration, but I've tried like several different pronunciations of this word, and Currere, yeah, so anyways, if I'm mispronouncing it, I apologize, but let's get into it. So for this final, the first part of this is talking about the regressive part of my life, where I came from, what my upbringing was. So, my name is Hagen Schaefer. I am born and raised in Portsmouth, Ohio. I attended a small private Catholic school here in Portsmouth, Notre Dame, and all of elementary, all of high school was spent at this school. I went on to Shawnee State University, again, here in Portsmouth, to obtain my undergrad in early childhood and special education. And while I was there, I also played on the women's basketball team, all 4 years I was there. So now I'm currently a first grade teacher at West Portsmouth Elementary School. I am currently in my 3rd year of teaching, soon finishing that up, and I'm obtaining a master's at Shawnee State as well. So again, my experience in school, like I said, I grew up going to a small Catholic school. So as you can imagine, it was a pretty small school. Most of the schools around here are still fairly small, but Notre Dame was a different kind of small. Like, I graduated with 25 total kids in my entire grade, and I had that same amount of students in my class, like, all through school. And attending Notre Dame, it was not a diverse student population. In school, I don't think there were any students of color, minus maybe 1 or 2 in the entire school, elementary and high school combined. And I would say, at least when I was in elementary, it might be a little bit different now, but the majority of the student body were from middle to upper middle class families. So, like I said, I mean, all of us had fairly similar backgrounds, fairly similar upbringing. And after high school and moving on to college, it was kind of a culture shock to me, just because, again, you go to college, it's a lot more students, you have a lot more kids in your classes, and then especially being on the basketball team, you know, I'm now a part of a team with girls from all over the country, all over the state, and they have different backgrounds, beliefs, and ideals. I played with I played with teammates of different races as well. And so it was a lot different, getting used to, you know, like how they interact with each other, how they interacted with me, how I interacted with them. Just getting used to like what their experiences were like and how we meshed together. And so that was a really interesting and positive experience. I would say I got really, really close with all of my teammates at Shawnee, and within my classes, it was different, you know, being around people who didn't have the same political views, and not only students, but like my professors as well. Different backgrounds, personal beliefs, different sexual orientations. So that was a lot different than what I was used to. But kind of switching things, going back to my upbringing, I was very lucky enough to have been raised by two parents that are still married, that love me and supported me and gave me the nurturing that I needed growing up. They were so involved in my childhood and even still now. I mean, they both coached me through biddy ball, and softball and junior high. And not only that, but they would always just help out at home. Very involved in our activities, very involved in our school work as well, always helping with homework. I remember so many times my dad working with me on my multiplication facts in 4th grade, helping me with my math homework, and my mom helping me writing papers and writing sentences when I was young and my sight words. And I'm very, very fortunate to have had that upbringing and to have had two parents who have supported me in all my endeavors, have instilled in me so many characteristics that have shaped me into the woman that I am today. And it wasn't until I became a teacher, and over the past couple of years that I've been in education, I've had my own classroom, that I haven't really realized how fortunate that I am. The school that I work in now is very impoverished. Scioto County is a low socioeconomic area, and the students that we work with come from very diverse backgrounds, not so much in a racial orientation, but more so in their economic status, and their upbringing. Again, my students lived pretty impoverished. They are being raised by non-traditional family members, such as grandparents, aunts, uncles, foster parents, friends of family, etc. And they don't get as much of those nurturing aspects that I was able to get when I was younger. And it wasn't until now that I realized how fortunate I was to have my parents that worked with me on homework, because I have a lot of students whose parents or people at home, their guardians, don't work with them on their homework. They don't work on their sight words. They don't work on their reading. They don't read books to them. They don't give them the love and the nurturing that they need. They stick a tablet in their hand and so they can get out of their hair. And so that'll kind of talk about going into the progressive aspect of my life. But again, I'm just very, very fortunate to have had such an amazing upbringing. Okay, like I just said, let's get into the progressive aspect of my life. Where do I want to go? What's the end goal for my career, my classroom, and my students? So I live a pretty busy life. Not only am I a teacher full-time, but I'm also an assistant basketball coach. I'm a part-time personal trainer. I'm very involved in my siblings' lives. I'm going to all their games. I have a passion for health and fitness, and so I take pride in living a healthy and active lifestyle. So I work out. It's part of my regular routine. I eat well. Again, very, very involved in my extracurricular activities, you could say. But with my education career, being a teacher, being a coach, being a trainer, being a sister, being a daughter, all the different roles that I play in my life, the one thing that I want to accomplish out of all of those things is making a difference in the lives of others, making a positive difference, I should say. Using my experiences that I had growing up and using what my parents gave me and instilled in me at such a young age, and instilling that into the lives of my students, of the girls that I coach, of the people that I train, and my younger sisters, and those around me, colleagues, friends. I just want to know that I made a difference in their life for the better. And, like I talk about this a lot, but yes, teaching my students academics are important. Preparing them academically for the next grade level is important, but I think the most important aspect of being a teacher is showing your students that you love them and you care for them and that you see them, you hear them, and you want to be there for them. You're their biggest supporter, and you've got their back. And, especially now that I'm, again, a teacher and I'm seeing that a lot of students don't have this, it's that much more important to me that I am able to be that for my student. And again, like at the end of my career, I don't know that I want to be a teacher for the rest of my life. I hope I am a teacher for the rest of my life because I really love it. I don't know what God has in store for me, but wherever He leads me, whatever He leads me to do, it's my hope that I can make a positive difference in the lives of those around me. All right, so let's get into the analytical aspect of my life. So, considering my past and my future, I have had a lot of experiences, again, in my life that have shaped me into who I am now, and a lot of these aspects are from athletics, always being involved in sports and being able to take my athletic experiences in high school, being able to take them to the next level and play in college. My experiences in high school and college playing basketball were very, very different. High school was a fairly positive aspect. It was a positive experience. I was very successful in high school, and I was fortunate enough to receive several accolades in multiple different sports. And college wasn't so much that experience. I was not the star athlete anymore. I was 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th man off the bench, depending on the night. But that was okay. But it wasn't so much about that was so different. My college basketball experience was not the best. And it was a really, really hard experience. And I know a lot of my teammates would agree with me on that. And our coach didn't always have the best delivery of his message, and the way that he liked to coach didn't really mesh with a lot of us. And that's a very nice way of putting it. But with all that being said, and as hard as that experience was and how negatively it kind of impacted me and gave me a lot of anxiety and trauma, I'm oddly grateful for that experience because it made me into one tough cookie, and it taught me how to be disciplined, intrinsically motivated. It taught me how to set goals and achieve those goals. And it taught me, again, the importance of hard work. And, as hard as that experience was, transitioning from high school to college and then college into the real world, a lot of those experiences have helped me through situations in my life now. For example, again, it's taught me to adjust and adapt daily, being a first grade teacher, and being able to set goals not only in my career but in my personal life. And one of those was doing a bodybuilding competition. And I'm not sure if you're really aware of what all that entails, but to sum it up, it takes a lot of hard work, a lot of time, and discipline. I was on an extreme diet for over 6 months, intensive workouts and cardio every day, on top of teaching a full day of school while coaching basketball, while personal training. So you have to have discipline to do that. And, I can without a doubt say that I would not have been able to accomplish that had those values not been instilled in me at a young age and practiced and perfected through college and in my experiences. So where I'm getting at with that is those past experiences, positive and negatively, that I had, shaped me into the person I am today and instilled values in me that I will take with me and use every single day. That discipline, that work ethic, the determination, the competitive drive that I have, allows me to never be satisfied or complacent with where I am. And it drives me to be better tomorrow than I am today. And that follows me again in all aspects of my life, my teaching career, my coaching career, being a great personal trainer, and just being a good person overall. So how does that all fit in with critical multicultural education? Well, plain and simple, it's, the fact that I mentioned earlier, I love and I care for all of my students, regardless of where they come from, what their experiences are, what their socioeconomic background is, what race they are. Regardless of who they are and where they came from, I treat them with nothing but love and respect and fairness. And it's my duty to be an advocate, to be able to give these students that type of experience, but also holding others accountable and making sure that they're doing the same. And again, never being complacent with where I'm at and always trying to, again, use that drive that I have to better myself for my students, to be a better advocate for them, to be a better advocate for the athletes that I coach as well. So to kind of sum this up and talk about the synthesis aspect of this video, I've learned so much through this course about multicultural education. And, a lot of the chapters really talked about the discrimination that people of different backgrounds, not just racial backgrounds, but socioeconomic status, men versus women, the LGBTQ plus community have faced. It's special education, students with disabilities, what they've all faced in the past in education. They've received maltreatment from peers, from teachers, from administration, from community members, just from society in general. And I'm not going to sit here and talk myself up and make it sound like I'm the best teacher in the world, because I'm not, and I know I'm not. I might not have the most creative lesson plans. I might not spend every waking hour making cute little crafts for my students. And if you are a teacher that does that, like, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Like, that's amazing. That's awesome. And if you are a teacher who doesn't do that and doesn't have time with that, awesome. Like, you're amazing too. But what I can say about myself is that, after reading all the chapters and kind of reflecting on what the chapter said about basically like advocating for these different backgrounds of students and these different groups of students, and with how I try to implement this in my classroom, is that, again, kind of going back to what I said in the beginning, advocating for all of these students, regardless of where they come from and who they are. It's important to treat them all with love, give them the nurturing, the safety and the security that they need, empowering them and inspiring them to do their best, and teaching them life skills that they need to be decent human beings. And I can assure myself that I know that, I might have lesson plans that fail on the daily. It might not go the way I intended it to. I might get frustrated with the progress being made or not being made in particular concepts academically. But if there's one thing that I will do every single day, it's give those students my best and treating them equally, advocating for them, doing what's in the best interest of my students, keeping them my number one priority. I think that's the biggest thing that I took away from this course, is just advocating for my students and not conforming to what's easiest all the time, not addressing subjects like race, sexual orientation, different cultures, because it may or may not be uncomfortable, isn't going to help our students out. Again, I attended a small private school where I didn't learn about different cultures, students with different backgrounds, and especially in today's world, with how much it's diversified over the last several years, and I'm sure it will diversify even more so in the next coming years. Like, I think it's so important to address these topics with our students, and of course in a tactful way, and doing it out of love and respect of all cultures and all backgrounds, because educating our students in that will only help them be more receptive and respective of students with different backgrounds, not thinking that one way is the right way, and instead allows them to be more receptive to hear other people's perspectives and have different outlooks on situations.